Okay, welcome to today's live. So today I'm going straight to share about the traps in the IELTS test. I know I mentioned that yesterday in my live. So today I'm going to share those traps that are usually set across the IELTS listening test to trap people and trick them. Okay. Basically, the IELTS listening test, it is actually designed in a way to identify those test takers who are able to comprehend what they are listening, to, and those who are not able. So to accomplish this, what happens is, and this is the truth that you need to know. What happens to accomplish this? There are some traps that are, set across the listening test to trick people. Okay, they are actually set to induce errors. It is deliberate. It is not just like I'll keep on repeating. It is not that English language is so difficult or whatever it is. Those traps are placed or set in a way to induce errors. Okay, so today that is what I'm going to share, with you, so that you are able to understand why people, much as they speak English day in, day out, why is it that when they get to the IELTS listening test, okay, why is it that they score very, very low points? Trap number one, distractors. Okay. All right. Just like the way the word, indicates. All right. Distractors are things that, used. Remember, in the IELTS listening test, you are listening to audios that are being played. So the people or the person, remember, you'll either be listening to an audio, either to a monologue or a conversation between people. All right. So distractors are things that are just deliberately in the listening IELTS listening test. These distractors are deliberately set up to confuse the test takers. Okay, so that if you are not so attentive, you just get confused and lose track on what it is that was said. Okay, and in most cases, actually I can say like 99% of the cases, remember I said, as you are listening, you are reading through the questions and writing the answers. All the things that you hear in that audio that could be answers, all of them, they are. For example, if you are answering a multiple choice question, all the things that you had there, whether it's something that somebody spoke and then they corrected themselves, you will hear all those things. You will see all those things in the multiple choices. For example, if there are 3 choices to pick one from, anything that you had that was mentioned there, whether that was now the correct thing or that is whatever it is that the person who was speaking corrected themselves, you will see all those things in the answers, in the choices that you have. So The distractors are always put there to cause confusion, okay, so that the test takers, they do not pay attention, or they just lose track and just get confused. All right. For example, looking at my screen here, a speaker may say something and quickly correct themselves. Okay. Or they may be, if it's a conversation between two people or a discussion between 3 to 4 people, one speaker will say this and another speaker will correct them. Okay. So it could be any. Either the speaker in a monologue will say something and then right away correct themselves. Okay. So the listener, you as the test taker, you're going to listen to hear two different versions of whatever information that is being relayed. And obviously, one is correct and another one is wrong. All right. But just like I said, all the options, you'll find them in the answers, the choices that you have to select. Let's take this example. Okay. For instance, now, assume this is the question that you are supposed to answer. All right. Question number 5, the telephone number 9342. So let's assume now you are listening to this audio. All right. So assume I'm the audio now playing. You're listening to me. We have 2 people. This is a conversation between 2 people, the receptionist and a customer. The receptionist says, okay, what is the best number for us to contact you on? Then you'll hear the customer. You can call me at the hotel where I'm staying. The number is 93426539. Oh no. Oh, did I say 539? Sorry. It should be 395. All right. So this is an example of what you would hear in a listening audio, people correcting themselves. And in most cases, the situations, especially the first section of the listening test, that is where most of these distractors happen, okay? And this, in most cases, is got things to do with telephone numbers, credit card numbers, post codes, the cost of something, okay, the time, yes. So in most cases, those are the things where you will hear people saying something and correcting themselves. All right. So that is the first trap that you will encounter. And for you, you really need to be very, very, very attentive. Okay. Number 2, trap number 2, spelling. Okay. One thing that you need to understand, even if you write the correct answer, if the answer is wrongly spelled, you lose a point. Okay. Poor spelling is penalized in the IELTS listening test. Okay. So you really need, as a test taker, you really need to be very, very, very accurate when you're writing your answers. Make sure the answers are well spelled. All right. So, of course, a tip on spelling: if your spelling isn't so good, try learning commonly misspelled words. This is something you can even, go online and check out the commonly misspelled words. They are mostly very common, wherever and anywhere you search. They are very, very common. So look them up and make sure that you work on your spelling. All right. Number 3, the word match. This is something else that you really need to watch out for when you are doing the IELTS listening test. What do I mean by word match? In most cases, like again, I can say 90% of the cases, the words that you will hear in the audio might not be the same words you will find in the choices or the answers that you are given, that you are choosing from. All right? Especially if you are doing the multiple choice question types. The same words that you hear in an audio, they will not be. In fact, I can almost say, like with the certainty that they will not be the same words you will find in the choices that you are given to choose from. All right. So what happens in most cases, all the time, especially if you're answering multiple choice questions, they are either paraphrased, okay? They are either paraphrased or they use synonyms. In fact, the IELTS exam or the IELTS test, especially when you're dealing with IELTS listening test, or again, I'll be talking about the IELTS reading test. There's so much to do with synonyms. Synonyms are those different words that mean the same thing. All right. So it is very important that you really work on your vocabulary for you to know which words fall under the same category, which word, refers to the same, like has the same meaning as this. So as you are listening to the audio, you will hear something different being said. But as you're looking at the multiple choices that you have to pick from, you will really not see the exact word as you're hearing or as you heard. So you need to check out for a synonym, a word that means the same thing as what you've listened to. Let's see an example here. For example, this is a question, okay? This under is the script, assume it's the audio that we are going to listen to. And then you have this question here to answer. The question is, what does the woman like most about the house? Woman like most about the house. The key words here is the woman and most, most is the key word here. And then, of course, the house. Okay. So you have three options to choose from: the design, the locality, and the living room. All right. So we have an estate agent and a woman in a conversation. So assume you are listening to an audio, the estate agent. So what do you think? And here the woman says, very nice. I mean, I love the living room. It is spacious and so tastefully done up. And the design is so European. I've always wanted to live in a house with French windows and a brick fireplace. But the best bit, without doubt, is the neighborhood. It is so pretty and peaceful, just the kind we were looking for. Of course, I've put this in bold, the neighborhood, because this is the correct answer. Why? Remember, I pointed out that most is one of the key words here. The woman likes so many things here. She likes the living room. She likes the way the house is so spacious. She loves the design, the windows and all that. So that means we are looking out for what she likes the most. And here, but the best bit, remember what I said about the use of synonyms: most, best. In the audio you are listening and you heard best, But in the question, what you are seeing here is most. All right? So the best bit, without doubt, is the neighborhood. And when you come to the answers here, you cannot see neighborhood anywhere. So if you are there, listening to this audio, you are looking out for the neighborhood. Of course, you will not see that. And if you were not so prepared with the, thinking so fast of the synonyms, what is it that, means the same? In these three options, what means the same as what I've had in the audio as the neighborhood? Is it the design? Of course not. Is it the locality? Is it the living room? Of course, the answer here is the locality. The locality is the same as the neighborhood. So the use of synonyms or a paraphrase, things, it could be a group, of words that could be paraphrased. So the use of synonyms, you really need to work on your vocabulary. All right. So, of course, the listening, the tip here, listening for matching words will only mislead you. The moment, remember the listening test, you're listening to an audio and you are on timer. On a timer, you are timed. The moment you miss out, you can't see neighborhood here. Now you start scratching your head. Time is running out. You start panicking. And that is how you lose. Remember, the conversation is on, the audio is playing. So it's something you really have to connect things so fast. So that is a trap that really gets people, off guard. And then now, by the time you get out of that test room, you are really sweating. Like, I really don't know what happened. Okay. So spend your time on improving your comprehension and your vocabulary. Number 4, time conventions. Of course, like I mentioned in one of my videos about the IELTS test, the IELTS test, it's an international test. All right. So being an international test, when it comes to time, okay, when it comes to time, you know, depending on which area, which country you come from, there are so many ways that you refer to the time. Okay, there are so many ways. So that is also a trap. That is also something that confuses people. So let me show you an example here. All right. So you maybe you could hear something like quarter to. All right. And then in the options that you are given, the choices that you are given to, to choose answers from, you will not see the quarter to there. What you're seeing there, it's 5:45. All right. You will hear in the audio, the speakers talking about quarter past. But in the question, the options that you are seeing there, the answer will be presented as 6:15. Half past, the answer will be presented as 6:30. All right. So you really need to be very, very familiar with the time conventions, because that is another thing that really confuses people. Number 5, the word limit. Much as it might sound so simple, but I can tell you the time, when I'm marking, practice tests for my students, this is something, it is, sometimes it's a mistake somebody just makes, and after you've marked, when you're now, giving back, they're like, how did I even forget that? But remember, if this was your final, the actual test you're doing, that is how you will just lose that mark. All the questions come with specific instructions. You will either be told, use one word, okay? You will either be told in not more than 2 words. or in not more than 3 words. Okay? So always look out for the instructions, all right? Especially if the questions you are supposed to fill in the blanks, all right? You need to be very, very keen and check how many words am I required to fill in. If you've been asked to fill in not more than 2 words, and your answer, you give an answer, using 3 words, even if that answer is the correct answer, you'll get it wrong. Let's look at an example here. All right, yes. This is the question. Complete the sentences below. Write no more than 2 words for each answer. During such rituals, the tribal chief used to wear a, okay? In this example, for example, assume the answer here, I didn't put the paragraph that you're supposed to read, but assume the answer here is silk jacket. The tribal chief used to wear a silk jacket, but instead, as now a test taker, you write, okay, jacket made of silk. Much as this, they look the same. These are all the same. It's a silk jacket or a jacket made of silk. These all refer to the same thing. But because you did not follow instructions, the instructions were very clear that write no more than 2 words. Silk jacket, jacket made of silk. Yes, much as this is the right answer, but because you failed to follow the instructions, you lose the point. You lose the point. Number 6. And the last trick that I'm going to share for today. Okay? All right. So, like I said in my previous video, the listening test is the IELTS listening test is the only test where test takers are given extra time to transfer their answers. Remember, I said that you have 30 minutes to listen to the audios and 10 minutes to transfer your answers. Now the problem comes. I remember. Now, this is what I mean when I say transferring of answers. As you're listening to the audio being played, what happens in the test, in the IELTS listening test? You are given the question paper, okay? You're also given an answer sheet, okay? So as you are listening to the audio being played, you are allowed, it is 100% allowed to write on the question paper. You can write and write and write whatever it is that you know, as long as it's something that is going to help you pass that test, or score points. You can write on the question paper. So as you are listening to the audio, the answer sheet is, you are not even touching the answer sheet. You are writing your answers as you listen on. You are writing your answers on the question paper. So now when the 10 minutes that you are given for you to transfer the answers, this is the time now you are supposed to transfer your answers from your question paper to your answer sheet. So now the trap comes. And this is a mistake that most students make. They transfer wrong answers. Maybe you are, and remember what happens. If you make a mistake and write and transfer answer to question number 3 to the space for, question number 4 in the answer sheet, of course, you know what will happen. It means everything will follow each other. Question number 3 on your answer, the answer to question number 3, which you wrote on your answer sheet, you've put it on the the space for question number 4 on your answer sheet. So it means question number 4 will go to number 5. Number 6 will go number 7. Number 8 will go to. By the time you are all down, you are, you hear the examiner telling you you have 1 minute. Either, there at that point, there are either two situations. Either you've not even noticed that is the mistake you've made, or that is the time you are realizing, because you realize that you are left with one answer which is hanging here, either on the question paper, but there's no space to fill in on the answer sheet, or vice versa. So, and you have 1 minute. Trust me, there's really nothing much you're going to do at that point. So this is a mistake that most students make when transferring your answers from your question paper to the answer sheet. So what is usually recommended? Try and transfer like your answers in blocks. You can either transfer in 5 in a block of 5 questions, 5 answers. Transfer number 1 to number 5 to the answer sheet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Double check, yes, this is good. Then move to the next block. You can either choose 5 blocks or a block of 10 questions. Transfer them and double check before you move to the next. But if you do, from the question paper to the answer sheet, most students, not most students, some students make that terrible mistake. And at the end of the day, you find yourself losing all the points. Even when we are doing the practice tests just before us, we prepare students to do their tests. As a tutor, you can see this is the mistake this student made. But of course, you cannot give marks. You can't give points. You will see, okay, number 2, it looks like it's the correct one for question number 3. Like that, you'll definitely know, okay, whatever a mistake that happened here is during the transfer of the answers from the question to the answer sheet. All right. Okay. So that is basically the 6. Those were 6. The 6 tricks that you really need to understand and you really look out for. You need to be very cautious. The distractors. I talked about the distractors. I talked about the spelling of words. I spoke about the matching, the word match. You'll never, don't expect to find the same answers as what you hear in the audio. So work on vocabulary. You'll see a lot of synonyms or paraphrasing being used throughout the test, okay? And then the time conventions, you need to be very familiar with how time is referred to: quarter past, quarter to, half past, half to, And the word limit, if you are told to write not more than 2 words, do not write 3 words. Even if the answer is correct, you'll lose the point. If you are told to use 1 word in 1 word, do not use 2 words. One thing you need to know: the answers, the questions where you are asked not to, use not more than 1 word. Even the articles like a book, the boy, and an egg. Those are the small things that will make you lose a point. If it's not more than 1 word, do not write a boy, because these are 2, they are counted as 2 words. Just write boy. Just write book. Do not say a book or the book or an whatever, an apple and all that. All right. So if it's 1 word, 1 word. And lastly, transferring of answers. Be very, very careful. This is where most people lose points. Transfer your answers in blocks of either 5 or 10 answers at one time. All right. So next, I'll be talking. So, like I said, I'll be really bringing you a lot tips, all the things that you need to know as you prepare yourself, either to start off your training or sit for that test if you already done your training. So I'll be talking more, especially again about the challenges or the problems that most test takers encounter and the best way to deal with them or overcome them. So that's all for today. See you again next time.